All right, guys, let's head back in. Make sure you share your presentation with me, okay? Share your presentation with me. I think you need to click on the thing, okay?
So what's the thing?
Here, just click on it.
Okay. Isn't this the space bar? Yeah.
Oh, smart. There you go.
Okay, so
Can I see
hey
you?
guys, we
Oh,
did
Ryan,
Philip.
can you like share the screen so I can
Can you
see?
say it? Jason.
Oh, sorry, hold on. Boredom, can you hold this for a second?
I'm gonna push this off.
Oh my
Thank you for that, Chunu. I keep forgetting sometimes, I'm sorry. Here you go. You can see it, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey guys, we got Philip J. Son, and he's a doctor, and I'm Yedian. This is Judy.
So I told you.
Just click it.
I'm clicking.
No, like with your with the mouse.
See?
Okay,
That's exactly why I said that.
so we have the biography, achievements, importance, and sources. Do you want to do the biography? Okay, I'll do the biography. This is Dr. Philip J. Son, and his Korean name is So Chapil, and he was born at Kanghae Village, Pocheon County, near the southern tip of Korea. And he lived from January 7th. He was born January 7th, 1864, and then he died January 5th, 1951, and he was born into a noble family. And at 18 years old, he was youngest to pass the civil service exam, which is really impressive for his age. And at 21, he participated in an unsuccessful coup against the government, which is like a rebellion against the government. And he went to Japan for the time being to like escape being a political fugitive. And then he later fled to America after he stayed in Japan for a while. And in America, he attended Columbian Medical College, which is the George Washington. It's the George Washington University now. And he studied medicine, obviously. He's a doctor.
So some of his achievements in 1892, he became the first Korean to ever achieve the American medical degree. 2 years earlier, he became the first naturalized U.S. citizen. And after returning to Korea in the 1890s, he initiated another revolution where he tried to transform the Korean people into an informed citizenry. And he edited and published The Independence, where he promoted Korean American independence, and he helped develop the first Korean newspaper in Hungary to make it more accessible to the lower classes. He also helped develop the independence of Korea.
Why is it important to know him?
Yeah. So Shion and I worked on this slide together, and essentially, there's a lot of things that he did throughout his entire life. Right. He was in Korea fighting for the independence movement. He moved to America where he studied medicine. He had his own influence there, talking about and teaching Americans more about Korea. But these are the few reasons that we believe you should, recognize him. First, he became the first naturalized Korean to American citizen. Within his experience in the United States, Sojapir created the 통립신문, which is the first English version of a Korean newspaper that was able to reach out to foreigners in Korea. Essentially, what he did was he created a Korean newspaper which he translated by himself into English, which was given to many foreigners in Korea during that time. Right? So that could be people from foreign countries who were there just for reasons, political issues. But what he did was, he was able to tell people what was happening. He was able to tell people what was happening in Joseon, South Korea, and Joseon, Korea, excuse me. And he was able to tell these foreigners about what was happening. And this newspaper, as a matter of fact, was given to American government officials to update them on events happening in Korea. So essentially, what foreign officials were doing, but instead, this guy, his newspaper was being used by these government.
And these are our sources. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. Nice. Yeah, Philip J. Son is actually one of the first Korean American independence activists ever. And so, when we talk about Korean American politicians, the Korean American activists, this guy is the archetypal model of all of us to come, right? That's kind of cool, actually. I didn't know that he was the first Korean to American naturalized citizen. It's very cool. For all of you guys who got naturalized or your parents got naturalized, this guy paved the way. Okay, next up we have 도산 안창호, or 안창호 선생님. All right, Ian, Joseph, and Ian Chung, you have the floor.
Okay, so this is our presentation on Antonio, and that's Ian, I'm Joseph, and Chung is on Zoom. Okay, so for his biography, it's kind of a lot. So, yeah, but he's mostly known for his Korean independence activist movements, and he was one of the early leaders of the Korean American immigrant community. And he was born November 9th, 1878 in South Cheongma, and that's present-day North Korea. He learned Chinese and Confucianism, but later converted to Christianity. And 2 years after Japan defeated China and assassinated Queen Min in order to gain control of South Korea, he joined the Independence Association in 1897. And he would go around his own village to give speeches promoting his association. And there, he started his own elementary school in Korea with a message, steady progress throughout one's life, rather than fast drastic change, because he believed that true independence for Korea would come through education. And his family later immigrated to the United States, and he traveled Russia and China, where he gathered Koreans living and established branches of the independence movement. And he continued his work, leaving his wife and children. And he later got arrested and tortured. I think that's how he also died.
Can you hear me?
This is...
Yep.
Alright. So these are some of An Chang-ho's achievements. And relating to Korean independence activism, he established movement branches in both Russia and Manchuria. He helped establish the Korean Provision Government in Shanghai, and he traveled through Korea giving independence speeches. Relating to Korean American activism, he began the Chinmoko Friendship Society in 1903 due to a turf war between Korean vendors, and he began the Mutual Assistance Society, the first Korean political organization in America, later merging with the United Korean Society and became the Korean National Association in 1909.
So we thought that An Chang-ho was important because he played a prominent role in Korean history, as he made a lot of contributions and sacrifices to the Korean independence movement. And everyone knows about his advocacy for education, social reform, and human rights. So we thought if we knew about these things that An Chang-ho did, then it'll help us appreciate the historical significance of his contributions to Korean American history and understand Korean culture, and also learn about the values of human justice and social justice that he advocated for. And that's it.
Thank you guys. So one really important thing to know about An Chang-ho is that his Mutual Assistance Society, right, the Korean National Association, that's basically the forebearers of organizations like KACE, like us. It's the first Korean American political organization in the United States, right? And without him and his efforts, there wouldn't be, organizations like us. There wouldn't be people like us, right, learning about these things in this classroom. So he's a very influential figure when it comes to paving the way for Korean American civic empowerment, right, and other political activism organizations. He's also the father of An Susan, who we talked about earlier today. So reading his biography, you can tell why his daughter was a charismatic James Bond-esque kind of woman, right? Her dad literally traveled around the world fighting for independence and freedom, right? So that's a little bit about An Chang-ho. Great presentation, guys. I'm very impressed with the level of detail here. Okay, Eungman, and everyone who worked on Seungman Rhee. It's okay.
Alright, Seungman Rhee, the first president of South Korea. Alright, so we have, alright, I'm Derek. This is, I'm Jonathan. That's
And our fourth is left earlier, but it's fine.
alright. What is it? Space or?
Click first.
Oh, alright.
So Seungman Rhee was born on March 26, 1875. He was born in Gyeongsan, which is now North Korea. His studies, he first was in a Confucian education before he entered a Methodist school, and that's where he studied English. During this time, he learned to love Korea. He became an avid nationalist and ultimately a Christian. And in 1896, he started a group of other young Korean leaders called the Independence Club, trying to assert Korea's independence from Japan. This club was eventually destroyed in 1898, and he was arrested and imprisoned until 1904 for treason. When he was freed, he went to the United States and studied abroad, received a PhD from Princeton University, which makes him the first Korean to earn a doctorate in the United States. By the time he returned to his own country in 1910, Korea was annexed to Japan. And after he got annexed in 1910, he immigrated to Hawaii to spend the next 30 years as a spokesman for Korean independence. And in 1919, he was elected as president of the newly founded Korean Provisional Government in Shanghai. He was later kicked off after 20 years. Well, he kind of misused his power to stay on, but he got kicked off and spent World War II years in Washington, D.C. so that he can get the Allied powers to ensure Korea's freedom. He ended up making a mass political organization supported by a bunch of military forces and police, and his new party won the elections in South Korea in 1948. And with his really authoritarian style government and purging all of his competition, he was able to negotiate with communist powers, eventually come to a truce, and solidify his independence of South Korea. That's why we're free today.
Alright, so Seungman Rhee was also a controversial president due to his regime. He began to use his powers like a dictator even before the Korean War started in 1950, and he let his internal security force put people in prison and torture them on the suspicion that they were either communists or North Korean agents. His 4-year terms were also against the Korean Constitution, but because of his purging of his enemies in the National Assembly, he was able to serve and was even re-elected in 1960 before he was resigned later that year.
All right, so now the question is, well, this guy doesn't really look like the best kind of guy to be leading Korea as the first president, but he did leave a substantial legacy. He was the first president of South Korea, and he did lobby for the complete reunification and independence of Korea from Japan ever since before he already knew that Korea was going to fall due to his beliefs that it was too old and too traditional. So he already knew that Japan would eventually take over Korea, or some other power around Korea would take over, and he wanted the US to help in with an 1882 treaty that already existed. However, America already ignored this. And Syngman Rhee, he wanted to work by using the US government and its military to finally free Korea. And then after Korea was separated, although the US wanted to separate Korea, not Syngman Rhee, because the US wanted to respect the USSR's claims on Korea and defeating Japan. But Syngman Rhee, he worked against communism, against the USSR, and tried to convince as many US government officials to reunite Korea by sending forces up there. Although this didn't exactly work in the best for his favor, he was still extremely nationalistic and proud, and although he was a dictator, he did bring the Korean Peninsula under the US's radar. A lot of his actions, like for example, creating organizations and creating groups to try to bring Korean independence at the forefront of the US diplomatic mission in Korea against Japan, this worked in his favor and for Korea's favor in separating South Korea from North Korea and allowing South Korea to be free and independent today.
All right, that's it, and these are the sources.
Nice, thank you guys. So, like EJ just said, Syngman Rhee's legacy is very controversial today. Partly because he participated in the most brutal war, one of the most brutal wars in Asia in the modern days, after World War I. So, the question remains, why did Syngman Rhee become president? Why did Korea become divided? Why did we fight the Korean War? That's another topic that we'll cover for another day. But essentially, it's important for you guys to know what happened to Korea and what it's like in North and South Korea today. You guys might ask, why is that important to me? Right? I'm an American. I live here. I don't live in Korea. Which is true, but you also come from Korea. Right? Your families come from Korea. Your customs come from Korea. And like it or not, America is a group of ethnic enclaves and different ethnic groups. We all have a place that we call home. And our home currently is fragmented, it's splintered, it's divided. And it's best for us to understand the reasons, the root causes for why our country remains divided, and understand the history of how that came to be, so that when you guys become leaders, right, you participate in politics and whatever industries you go into, you can have a positive influence in helping to mend the scars of the Korean War. Okay? All right, thank you guys. Great insight, by the way. I love it when you guys go above and beyond and go express yourselves, project. Okay? That's very, very good. All right, Setting, Chloe, and Lindsay, you guys are up next.
Yeah, so this is going to be our presentation about Congressman Andy Kim. Congressman Andy Kim is a Korean American. He was born July 12, 1982. He was raised by his immigrant parents. Both his parents had rough upbringing. His father grew up without parents and was often left homeless, and his mother grew up in a poor community. His father ended up getting a PhD and then studied to find the cure to cancer, and his mother became a nurse. His parents raised him and his sister in South Jersey because they wanted to give him the best opportunities to succeed, and he used that to become a Rhodes Scholar.
You guys know what a Rhodes Scholar is? Perfect. Exactly. They pick one person out of the entire country to go study at Oxford. It's a college scholarship. So this guy is something special. That's 1 in a million, essentially. All right, go on.
Okay, so sorry, this is my slide. And basically this slide talks about how his importance as the first Korean American Democratic member of Congress. And it was really special how he was born in New Jersey as a second generation Korean American and just grew up typically as a regular student, grew up educated in New Jersey public schools, and then eventually became someone who could serve as at USAID, the Pentagon, the State Department, White House, National Security Council, and even in Afghanistan as an advisor.
So one of the acts that he proposed, very recently actually, less than a month ago, was the Summer Meals Reach, which would expand the reach of nutrition plans during the summer to young students, and also extending the age limit while creating like grab-and-go style meals for students who did not have access to meals during the summer outside of school. So one way that you might have heard about him is this photo went viral after January 6th in 2020 when rioters came to the Capitol and basically like left all the trash everywhere. And this photo was taken of him alone on his knees picking up trash after all these people. And then actually after this photo, he went back to the House floor to debate Pennsylvania's vote count, and apparently he was awake for over 36 hours at the time.
And Andy Kim actually was a primary sponsor of 5 bills, and it's actually very rare for a bill to get enacted. And even these legislators sponsoring it is a pretty big deal. And one of the first one mentioned here is the State Department Training Modernization Act, and it was like a foreign affair act addressing the importance of foreign affair training to national security and for other purposes. And the second one was the Afghanistan War Commission Act of 2021, and it establishes the Afghanistan War Commission, which was a task force that was set up to study the entirety of U.S. military operations in Afghanistan. And he was also a sponsor of an act to designate the facility of the United States Postal Service, and which designated the facility of the United States Postal Service located at 14 Walnut Street in Boardtown, New Jersey, known as the Clara Barton Post Office Building.
And last bill, the Microloan Emergency Assistance Act of 2020. This bill increases the amount of funds available to an individual loan intermediary. And in addition, the bill temporarily extends repayment terms for microloans. And the Patriotic Employer Protection Act of 2019. This bill makes various small business administration programs available to active duty members of the U.S. Armed Forces, and also to those on full-time National Guard duty.
So he did run again in 2022 for the 2023-2025 term and won against Bob Healy. So he's still the representative for New Jersey today. And his values during his campaign consisted of supporting veterans, strengthening the structure of democracy, helping drug addicts, supporting small businesses, and providing disaster relief to people still recovering from Superstorm Sandy in New Jersey.
There are references. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Nice. That was the most detailed presentation yet. Awesome job, guys. I really like the slide. I had no idea about these bills.
Thank you.
And that's impressive. That's a politician. Should be what a politician has to be like. All right. Thank you, guys. Last but not least. Dr. Johnny Kim. All right. Claire, Hannah, why don't you guys come up here? Gordon. And Julie. I'm not gonna ask what that was. Just gonna pretend like it didn't happen. Yeah, Chunu should be online. Chunu, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. All right. There you guys go.
So our group researched Johnny Kim. He's currently 39. He was born and raised in LA, California to Korean American immigrants, and he achieved his bachelor's degree in mathematics, graduating with the highest honor at the University of San Diego, and he got a doctorate of medicine at Harvard Medical School. And Chunu will tell us more about his childhood experience.
Okay, so one of his quotes was, "I felt in between a couple worlds, like I had my Asian American roots. I felt like I was in between worlds. My parents were South Korean immigrants." So come closer. Yeah, so it's important that we learn about him because we could like look up to him because he's another Asian who experienced many of the same struggles as us, such as like fitting in into society, and yet he accomplished a lot of things. No, yeah.
So Johnny had a pretty rough childhood as his father was an alcoholic and an abusive father. And he said later in an interview how he was a scared little boy, scared of the world, scared of relationships, scared of talking to people, going to school, of having his own opinions, speaking up or fighting for what he believed was right. He was scared and deathly scared, especially of his father. So Johnny saw the seals as the best way to protect his mother and younger brother from his abusive father.
So he joined the Navy SEALs in 2002 and was assigned to SEAL Team 3, and he still is in the SEAL team like today. So he's been working for like over 21 years, and throughout his career, he served 2 deployments in the Middle East, participating in more than 100 combat missions, such as like a medic, sniper, navigator, and pointman. And over the course of his service, he's been recognized with many awards, such as the Silver Star, Bronze Star Medal, and the Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal. And he continues to serve.
Whoa, who decorated my slide? Johnny met a former astronaut named Scott Paris, sorry, I can't pronounce that, who inspired him to join NASA. He would apply and was selected to join the 2017 astronaut group 22. He had been selected out of 18,000 applicants to become a NASA astronaut. Johnny would complete 2 years of training such as spacewalking, robotics, international space systems, and he would learn Russian. He served as the International Space Station's increment lead for Expedition 65 in 2021. Johnny wanted to have an impact on the next generation of people who hope to be scientists or explorers, or people who just wanted to be a better version of themselves. Maybe I could reach out to those kids just like me who are scared, tired, who don't think they could amount to anything, who don't think they're worth anything. If I can reach out to them and let them know that hey, it doesn't matter where you're from, with the right attitude or the right hard work. If you get up every time, you fail, you can amount to something in life, he would say.
So Johnny Kim received his medical degree from Harvard University as he went there from 2012 to 2017. He became a lieutenant medical officer. He also worked as a resident physician at the Brigham and Women's Hospital located at Boston.
I was the only Asian in a lot of things I was doing. If anything, it made me stronger. He is a huge inspiration for the Asian community. He's like sort of like a beacon of hope, showing that even minority groups can achieve more accomplishments. And the next slide. 2020, he was selected as part of the Artemis Team 1, the crew of Artemis 3, first manned mission to move to Apollo 17 in like 1972. And he already has 3 manned Artemis missions already scheduled, with 5 more planned between now and 2032. And because the Artemis program is one of the like trailblazers for going to Mars or landing on Mars, and as he's one of the only 2 trained positions within astronaut group 22, he's probably going to be there. He may very well be one of the first humans to travel to Mars.
Hey.
You guys some headline. As you can see, he has accomplished a lot.
A lot would be an understatement.
Vice versa.
I didn't know that he might be one of the first people on Mars. That's kind of cool. So anytime you guys are stressed about your resume, you know that you can't compete with this one guy right here. No matter what you do. Can't beat it. Alright guys. I think that's it for this. Okay. So we're gonna have a small group discussion now, yeah? What surprised you the most about some of these folks? Or what's one thing that you learned about these people today? We're gonna do the same thing we did in the morning, where I'm gonna pick on someone to go first, and then you're gonna pick the next person to go. Okay? Jonathan, why don't you start us off first? So what's one thing, interesting fact, that you learned about these people today that you did not know? Or what's like one impression you have about one of these people?
Very hard working. Like, did not think that John McCain would be potentially one of the first people on Mars.
Yeah.
And he's also like, not only that, he's a doctor.
Yeah.
He's in the military. And he did all that even though he had like a rough start, like a rough childhood. But he had an abusive father. He's still like, I know, it's inspirational.
Oh yeah. And he was also in the Special Forces, right? The Navy SEALs. Which, if you guys don't know, it's ridiculous to get into the Navy SEALs. Like, you gotta starve for a week, you can't sleep. It's insane. So this guy, was, safe to say, an overachiever, right? Now he's gonna go to the moon and beyond, literally. Thank you, Jonathan. You pick someone next to go. Share your thoughts on this.
Okay. I was also surprised. I was also surprised about Johnny too, because, like Jonathan said, he has a lot of accomplishments as a military officer and as a doctor and an astronaut. But he's still really young, and he has a lot of time ahead of him, and he has so much more time to make a lot more accomplishments.
Oh yeah. Right? After you, Ian, who's up next? You guys look so guilty when you're like pointing out each other. Jonathan, Joseph, Ian, you're saying like go next. You guys look so guilty. Joseph, you're next.
I am. I don't know about the same guy. We'll see, because I don't remember anyone else's name.
Alright, just for recap, we talked about Dr. An Chang-ho, Dr. Philip Jason, Johnny Kim, Lee Seung-man, and Andy Kim. You can talk about Johnny Kim.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the coolest out of all.
Yeah, it's hard to beat his resume. He is pretty cool.
I thought it was impressive how he like started out, and then from there he made so much out of like nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely impressive. Most people either, you either fold or you rise to the occasion, right? You rose to the occasion. Alright, Joseph, next person. Chloe.
The first president, I forgot what his name was.
Lee Seung-man.
Lee Seung-man.
Mhm.
I thought it was pretty interesting that, like, given that he's the first president, he's so controversial, and that, like,
to like do 4 terms in a row, even though that wasn't allowed.
Yeah.
As the first one.
Yeah.
It was so recent too. I think it was like 1906 that he ended his presidency.
1960.
1960.
Yeah. Yeah. Korea actually has a pretty bad track record of presidents and being incarcerated. I think the record is like 80% of Korean presidents have been thrown in jail at least once. He's also the first guy to earn a doctorate, and I think he's also the first Korean guy to go to an Ivy League school for his master's and doctorate. Princeton and Harvard. Yeah, so for any of you guys wanting to go to higher education, there's a guy who did it first. All right, Chloe, next up.
I found was interesting was with Andy Cam. I didn't do the slide, so I didn't know what I went off to present. It was when the picture where he was picking the trash off the ground after the like the riots.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting because even after all the work he already does, he didn't have to do that. He did it out of his own will. He wanted to clean that up, and after that he still had something to do after that, so he stayed up for 36 hours, but he still decided to do it.
Yeah. You should have a commercial for like Monster, some sort of energy drink.
Celsius.
It's Celsius.
Celsius is the most popular. It's the best one.
Is it good?
It's good. I just tasted
better than
it.
other
Yeah, it's better.
Have you guys like drank Monster before?
Yeah, but I like Celsius.
They have a new strawberry flavor for Monster.
Monster makes me feel
It
like
slaps.
I'm dying.
I don't like anything that's strawberry. Oh, you're so hungry.
All right, Lindsay, next up.
Okay, so I thought it was like the first first naturalized U.S. citizen. It's also the first.
Philip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
An American medical.
Oh yeah. And this guy was born a year before the Civil War ended. So like long, long time ago, 1864. That's when he was born. When he was 21, it was 1885, which is when Prussia still existed. There was no Germany. Otto von Bismarck. Yeah, it's insane. Yeah. Anyways, Judy, thank you. Who's next?
Hey,
Yes.
I also agree
Yes,
with
Hayden.
Judy that Philip was an insane person. Not like insane in a bad way, but insane in a good way. Because like he did
Wow.
help develop the first like Korean newspapers that was written in Hangul and like English. Which was really beneficial for first of all like the lower class of Korea who like didn't know like the Chinese like letters because it was really complicated and it was like only learned by the elite. And the fact that like U.S. government officials actually use like the newspaper for like news about Korea like really surprised me, and how much the contributed to U.S. and Korean relationships was also really surprising and inspiring.
Yeah. I mean, dude might as well have been insane. 'Cause I think, if I recall correctly, he attempted 2 coups. Yeah. Every time he came back.
But he failed.
Failed.
Yeah. Well, like he came back and tried again and again. I mean, it takes a special kind of person to do that. I'll tell you that much. Get it? Choose the next person.
Me, I thought Antonio was the most shocking. I didn't know that he was a Korean American in the first place, or at least came to America. All I knew him for was for being an independence movement pioneer slash writer slash whatever else title that might. I think his influence on America and on Korean Americans still here today.
Nice. Yeah, yeah. He's kind of like the archetypal Korean American who first came here with his family and trying to be politically active in that sense. Yeah. Shion, would you like to go next, or would you like some more time to prepare? Oh, okay, that's perfectly fine. Shion's from Korea, so yeah. Lonnie, how about you choose the next person to speak?
I find it really interesting that many of these highly influential individuals like that, like I haven't really heard about most of them compared to their non-Asian American or not as widely known for their accomplishments, like stuff like Johnny Kim, and for Andy Kim for being Rhodes Scholar is a big deal. So also lack of like, Asian American history.
Yeah, for sure. And these are all Korean Americans, right? So least of all, we should know about these people. Even if the other people don't talk about them, we should know about these people. Great point, Hannah. Next up.
I kind of find it interesting that like a lot of them earn like different kinds of degrees and stuff, which is like already impressive like by itself. But then like they go on to like kind of like they go on like to have like all these other accomplishments. Like I also find it like super impressive for a lot of them because they have a lot of determination to like do anything. Johnny Kim and
Yeah.
guy, wait, what was his name? The guy that picked up.
Andy Kim.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of these guys are like elite intellectuals. Their education is top of the cream. So, you know, if you guys are also aiming for schools like that and you want a higher education like that, then perhaps you guys should do more research into these people. Who were they? How were they so smart? What did they like to study? All right, Claire. Next. Who hasn't spoken yet? Raise your hands. Ungman, Bodum, Derek, Serin.
I'd say, like, as someone who did the research for Andy Kim, I found that it's like really impressive how he just went through the regular public school education. He grew up from a unprivileged background. It was just really impressive how he just grew up into such a someone who was able to accomplish a lot, be benevolent, and just in general, it's lead a really nice and respectful life.
Yeah. I might have forgotten this, but he has kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
One kid? Two kids? Two kids. No, really? That's heartwarming. Huh? Well, it's his own like children, right?
Yeah,
he can use them whatever way he wants. None of my business. All right, Serin, who's next? Who didn't go yet? Raise your hands again. There.
Alright, well, I was pretty inspired by Johnny Kim because I think he came from like an abusive father and, you know, a pretty dark childhood. But despite that, he was able to go, he was able to live a pretty fulfilling life as like a SEAL and a doctor and, an astronaut. So I just thought it was pretty inspirational that he was able to come up from so little and, build up such a fulfilling life for himself.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Johnny Kim is just cool. Like that dude is legendary. Just reading about him, especially because he lives right now, right? He's not like some far off historical figure. It's black and white. He's actually here right now. He's gonna be off to Mars. We might see him again. We might not, but his career achievements are legendary. All right, Bingman, Bodum. We'll go in that order.
All right. Trying to think about who to focus on. I mean, they're all really amazing people, especially like the older people. They really worked on the dream of Korean independence and of human rights. But the later people are just working towards not just becoming achievers, but leading others to achieve the same things they did. Right? Andy Kim, he's working towards helping the Korean American community as well, right?
Mhm.
And he's working towards he's working toward, as well as Johnny Kim. He said he's inspiring people as well. He's trying to inspire people to do great things with next beside him or after him.
Yeah.
So I think like a lot of these people are doing this with the knowledge in mind that they're trying to inspire people.
Yeah, that's a great point. The focal point of the earlier Korean Americans we saw was just Korean independence, right? But it's also because that was the thing of their day, the main issue of their day. And now you see a lot of the more modern day Korean Americans that we're studying, their focus is on their communities here and on even international issues. Like for Johnny Kim, he's trying to go on a space explorer and help humankind advance whatever interests it has on Mars, right? Good point. And Porten, last but not least, finish this off.
I feel like that photo of Annie Kim picking up the trash was staged. Look at that photo. He seems like a good guy.
Is it staged?
I don't think so.
No, right? I don't think it's staged because if it was staged, they probably wouldn't have picked Andy Kim to do that. They probably would have picked a more high-profile politician, right? Maybe like Kamala Harris, right? Why not have the vice president try and pick up trash? Why does it have to be Andy Kim, this guy from New Jersey? It's because he's.
That could be true.
I don't know.
He also did it.
Doesn't seem like it to me.
I mean, I can see the racism going on in the comments right there. If you think about it, right, there would be people like going, "Why is it? This must be staged. Why is the Asian American doing this? Why are the what is it? There was a word for like for Asian Americans that was widely used, like the perfect model minority. It's like going, oh, we're picking the Asian Americans are picking up the trash for all this like.
I see what you're saying.
That's just like something that I.
You're saying that the comments might say that he's pandering to the model minority image, right? By being this perfect representation of this Asian American politician.
Or that's why it could be
up.
staged. Why people think it might be staged, or at least,
Yeah, I don't think it's staged. I mean, I haven't met the guy, but from what I've read and from his face, I don't think it's staged. I'll just leave it at that.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you. Like, I feel like even if like you could improve your reputation, like picking up trash, I feel like most politicians would do that because I was like.
Yeah, and you know, I don't think it's staged because he had to go and stay awake for 36 hours doing something else, right? So honestly, there's a lot more ways you can spend your time better than that. But that guy chose to, if it's staged, he chose to do this and sort of highlight this issue of picking up trash for people, which I don't know. I don't know why he did it. If it's staged, it's hard to explain it. Thank you, Boredom. So that concludes it for this week's Trailblazers activity. We're going to have a similar one next week, and I'm going to have a fresh batch of new Korean Americans for you guys to research and present. Okay? All right, I'm going to give you guys a 10-minute break. Be here back by 4:35, okay? Wait, is it? 4:35. Yeah.
Also, don't forget in your emails when you see a buttload of assignments being posted, due dates are staggered, so you can take your time with your if you have time. Please
Yeah.
make sure to do those assignments. Thank you.
We can take a walk around.
Really wanted to say.
There's no case tomorrow, right?
No. You guys have the day off tomorrow. Yeah. Get some rest.
No, Wednesday? You're gonna do what are we doing?
Debates in the afternoon. In the morning, it's gonna be a lecture and some other activities. Yeah.
Last week.
Yeah, in the church, not here.
Yeah. Actually, at like 2:30, I was at the church.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Oh,
So it was empty. So I was like,
yeah.
Where is everyone?
We should have put that better on Google Classroom.
No, it's alright. It's gonna check. It was like.
It was on Google Classroom.
It was like.
Maybe just did it again.
Y'all posted like a while back. Like,
yeah.
Just didn't see it.
Yeah. So it's hidden under like Austin.
glad you're
like,
here,
absentee.
I'm glad you're here.
Is this all the people that are going to be here for the rest of this internship, or is there more people that is
It might be more. Sometimes we have less people in this, but it's usually going to be around this size, like 16 people.
Like on the Zoom or
Other people on the Zoom too.
how many? Two or
Like, probably 3 or 4 in total.
If we include New Jersey and absentees in Zoom, then like yeah, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
It's like
6, 7, 8, 9.
I know this one kid that's supposed to be here, but she's
Yeah,
not for some
fair.
reason.
The internship, 5:30.
5:30. Oh,
Yep.
Oh yeah.
What's wrong?
You guys have an hour left.
I thought it ended at 5.
It's supposed to end at 6, but Ryan has to go somewhere.
No, we're ending at 5:30 because we need time to clean up.
So when should we?
No, it's gonna be the church from now on. It's just today.
So when should we expect to like leave the building after cleaning up?
Just as soon as you guys can start leaving at 5:30.
But you know, like we're gonna help clean up, right? So we
Yeah.
probably say like we leave at like 5:40 ish.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I do want you guys to help out. It's gonna make it easier.
I guess we get that
Like
extra
40.
what 15 minutes on the vlog time. Who is it that you said isn't here?
Huh?
Who did you say isn't here?
Oh, this is one kid I know that's supposed to be here, but she wasn't here last week because she went on vacation. She's supposed to be here this week, but I'm not sure why she's not here. Maybe she's like, maybe she's at church or something, waiting for us.
Guess we'll see.
These croissants.
Yeah, those are
Hey, yeah, those are snacks for today. We're over here, I got them in the morning, so you can have either the vegetable snack thingies, which is or mini croissants.
The peaches are 2 days unripe.
You guys, someone donated to us this morning.
They're 2 days unripe. Don't eat them.
2 days alright.
Yes, I ate one.
So
As in they'll be ripe in 2 days, or the 2 days past being ripe?
2 days before they were.
Oh, well, then in 2 days we'll have a nice snack.
Yeah, except we're not here in 2 days. So we're at the other location in 2 days.
Oh, that's tough.
I tried eating one and then it like smacked in half my throat.
the cups, the kids know they can have water, right?
Oh yeah, Ryan. I remember you said you like pull-ups, right?
Yeah.
Are you just like a sports person, or are you like calisthenics?
No, I'm doing it for the military.
Go crazy with the water.
No,
We're almost out.
Yeah, I'm actually after this internship, I'm gonna work for the U.S. Army Reserve. So
Working for your Johnny Kim.
I'm gonna be the next Johnny kid. I'm not gonna go to medical school. I can't
It's
do
not
it.
really good, right?
Yeah.
They're deceptively like, oh, it's just like chest pass. You go like, oh,
Not
not
bad.
bad. The second one, ooh, really good. Third one, it's like, I need like an entire jumbo bag of this.
There's like some like vegetable straws that are kind of like this, but they're like styrofoam and they don't taste as good.
I
It's
feel
not
like, yeah.
it's like some kind of like powder in them that makes them
I'm
taste
terrified
better.
looking at the health stuff for it because it's probably really bad for you. Because like if they're gonna go like it's
Probably
vegetable
zero
or whatever,
vegetables in there.
Probably vegetable powder.
Probably, hopefully.
it's like
Actually, I want to see what's the nutrition level.
don't tell me. I just want to eat it. I don't want to know what's in it. It tastes too good.
Ah yes, not even real potatoes. Actually, yes, real potatoes. Real funny. Not like raw potatoes.
Shush! I'm the guy that likes eating spam. All right, I don't want to know. I don't want to know what ingredients are in here.
From potato concentrate.
You need concentrate so you can concentrate, right? That's what it means.
Oh, bro.
Oh, does she tuck in mushrooms together?
Are they?
Or at least powder from them. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Red Wallering.
Is that?
They're so fire. You got something.
Yeah, now until the end, so 5:30.
Can we control the AC one?
Yeah, ask Richard.
Is it too cold or too hot?
But it's like it's just like no, it's just right here. You see it right here?
Yeah, no, because you're directly where the AC is. We kept it, and that's as high as it goes. Otherwise, it will go directly on speaker. We can make it a little warmer.
Just a little. It's not
Yeah.
extreme.
Yeah, you're saying like directly in the AC pad. Here you like service.
So it looks like most of you are here. Jonathan and Ian. Where's Jonathan and Ian? Hanya? I hope they make it back in time. Well, while they're coming back, I kind of want to give you guys a chance to ask any questions you have about college or college admissions or anything like that to me. Because I've been down that route. I'm a recent college graduate, and I did tutor kids in college admissions before. So I'm one resource that you guys have access to that you can use to ask about colleges. What it's like to apply to NYU or Yale, which I apply to, or William & Mary or UNC or any of these schools. What does that look like? What do I need? So until Jonathan and Ian comes back, you guys can ask me any questions you have, if you have them. Yes, Hannah.
Why did you pick NYU?
To be honest, it was two reasons. One of them was because I wanted to work at the UN, and NYU is like, so I started off NYU with a major in international relations, and their page for NYU said, we have access to like UN internships, we are the most widely connected network there, which is true. I did change my major to politics, so not IR anymore. That's one reason. The other reason is they gave me like a really big scholarship to go there. And so, yeah, I almost went there like free, basically. Yeah, sorry.
What were your like ECs?
What's that?
What were your ECs?
So I did high school debate. I did high school model UN. I was also student council president. I did NHS, and also volunteered at a local community center. It wasn't that much for the volunteer service. I just like taught kids about Korean. I helped clean the place, and that was it. Yeah, basketball. Dude. I played basketball varsity. I was captain of the basketball team. Captain of the model UN team, debate team, student council president. That was it.
Oh wait, like were your grades like very good? Like
4.2. I was the valedictorian of my class. But we only had like 12 people because it's a small international school. So honestly, it's you against yourself. Yeah.
What school is this?
It's International Christian School Pyeongtaek. It's a really small school, international school. But everything that we did was connected with a circuit with larger international schools. So for like Model UN basketball or debate, we would go to debate against schools like SFS or KIS, which are huge schools, like the best schools in South Korea. And so everything that I did for my EEC, I'm proud of, and it required a lot of competition, a lot of hard work, and it wasn't easy. Yeah, Hannah.
What kind of activities do you college outside of like academic work?
So I continued doing Model UN. I was the head delegate of our Model UN travel team, which basically meant you would travel to other colleges on the weekends and compete with them. I also was an ambassador for what was called the United Nations Initiative, which we would cold call ambassadors to the UN, and we would organize venues and have them come to our departments and speak. So we had the French ambassador, we had the German ambassador to the Security Council, and we had the Afghani ambassador and the African Union ambassador come over and have talks. I also went to represent NYU at a student conference on national security affairs in West Point, which was, it wasn't like a EC thing, but it was an application and you had to be accepted kind of thing. It was mostly academics though, because I really wanted to go to grad school. And so one of the things that you have to do if you want to go to grad school is do the honors track in college, which, if you're a presidential honors scholar, then you write a thesis. And if you write a thesis, you have to defend your thesis and have it passed. And if you do that, you graduate with honors, which is usually the best way to grad school, because then you can submit your writing sample to grad schools and they can see that you actually worked on a thesis and it got passed. Yeah. Summa cum laude, NYU. Alright guys, that's enough humble bragging about myself. If you want to have any personal questions about application essays, I can also review that for you. I don't think any of you guys are rising seniors, are you? Ian? Jonathan? Yeah. Joseph? If you guys want, I can proofread your essays for you. I'm pretty confident in writing essays. It's my forte, so if you want, it's an opportunity. Okay? Offers up there. But you all beat me in basketball. You beat me in basketball, I'll proofread your essay. I'm just kidding, it's full of it. Alright. You guys can just email me about any questions you have in the future. Okay? Alright. For the rest of the time, we're gonna do what's called a public speaking workshop. So I've been doing public speaking since I was in 8th grade. I did Model UN and I also did debate. I'm gonna say this to you guys right now. High school debate messes up your speech patterns a lot because when you graduate and you're trying to speak to regular people, you have to slow down, right? But your brain is kind of jumbled up because you have to speak so fast and aggressively that sometimes I get like caught up in my own words too, and it takes time to process and slow down, all right? But I still have all the fundamentals that I learned from back then that I want to teach to you guys and help you guys train that too, so you guys can learn how to project yourselves, you guys can learn how to argue effectively for things, and also just stand up for yourselves. Right? When someone says something that you don't agree with, right? Say it. Make yourself heard. Right? If someone attacks you verbally, defend yourself. Okay? All right. So there's several important things I want to go over first before we get into any speech drill or any speech exercise, which I think we only have time for one today. So number one is your voice matters. Right? Your voice matters. It matters the most, right? Because if you don't say what you think, if you don't say what you feel or think, other people will do it for you. Okay? And you don't want that to happen to you. You will always be assumed to have feelings or thoughts that you do not have by other people. You will be forced to endure more discomfort later than the discomfort you feel from speaking up now. Right? So I know for a lot of you guys, it feels uncomfortable having to speak up right now, right? But the level of discomfort and sometimes shame that other people bring upon you for not speaking up later greatly outweighs any kind of discomfort that you feel from speaking up now. Okay? So endure this temporary discomfort right now so that you don't have to endure greater pains in the future. That's precisely what this means. Your voice matters. And if you don't cultivate it, other people will target you. Other people will walk over you, especially if you go to college, right? You guys have lived in New York all your lives. What's New York like? It's not the most friendly environment, is it? You go to college, there's a hodgepodge of kids from different ethnicities, different nationalities, different parts of town, right? And they're not going to play nice with you sometimes. Even professors, I'm going to say it. You guys are going to be in class, you're going to raise a hand, right? Or the professor's going to ask you to say something. You're going to say it, and one of your professors might be like, that's stupid. I've had that happen to me too. I've had that happen to my friends. I've seen it. I've also seen a girl cry because of that. Professors are like that. That doesn't mean that you should never speak out in college, because they will make you. They will make you. And if you go to a job interview, they'll make you speak up for yourself. Right? So it's inevitable, guys. There's always going to be some time when you have to speak up for yourself. And the problem is, you want to be prepared for that. You want to be able to defend yourself and confidently express yourself so that people can't walk over you. Right? Number two is get comfortable with rejection. All right? This might sound cliche, but people will reject you. Some people may even make fun of you. That's the unfortunate world that we live in. And I don't want you guys to be like this, right? So, I passed it as good-natured fun earlier, but don't make fun of people for the credentials. Because a lot of people aren't like you guys. A lot of people aren't as bright or smart or ambitious as you guys. A lot of people aren't that talented, or they don't know what they're talented at, right? But you don't want to rub it in their faces. You don't want to shame people for their credentials, right? Because everyone's good at something. Everyone's a leader at something, right? You always want to respect that. Now, You guys can do that. But other people will reject you. Other people may even shame you. All right? But you got to realize that no matter how much people make fun of you for speaking up, you will always be an easier target for manipulation and bullying by not speaking up. Right? Let's say you raise a hand and you say something. The professor says that's stupid. Right? Everyone laughs. It doesn't matter. Because if the professor says something and your friend says something, you don't say anything, other people will continue saying the same things to you, even though you disagree with them. You're going to be forced to endure all of that constantly because you're not speaking up for yourself. Right? I say this all the time, but the #1 best self-defense in the world is not jiu-jitsu or taekwondo or boxing or anything like that. It's the art of verbal confidence. It's being able to speak up for yourself, express yourself, and articulate. Right? That's why lawyers get paid a lot of money. They do that for you in court. Right? America is a country under the rule of law. There's a dispute that gets settled in the courts. Right? No matter what happens, you always settle it in the courts, which means ultimately it's a fight of how well you can defend your position against other people and win your case. Right? And so I'm not asking you guys to be lawyers. I'm not asking you to say things like Obama, right? What I'm asking you guys to do is recognize that this is the best way to defend yourself and also stand up for yourself. Right? The third one is to watch and learn. Right? Nobody was born a great orator. Everyone struggles. Every single person struggles. So here's something you guys can do in your free time. Pick a person who you think speaks really well and attractively. That person for me was Barack Obama in my high school years. Then emulate that person. Right? If you can, I can't ask Obama, but if you can, ask that person how he or she learned to speak, how they speak. Watch carefully, listen, and try to imitate how they speak. Right? You obviously don't want to sound like a carbon copy of how that person sounds like, but it's going to give you a foothold. Right? It's going to give you a model to base off your speech patterns from. It's going to help you grow into your own speaker. Okay? So watch clips of speeches, watch clips of people talking. It might be your favorite YouTuber, it might be your favorite celebrity, right? And how they carry themselves. You guys are at a stage where you need good role models, right? Well, you need good verbal role models too. You need to pick people who are good at speaking, who are learned speakers, and emulate them. That's the best way to learn. You'll also improve much faster doing this than anything that you'll do outside. Lonnie, does your school have a debate coach?
Yes.
Yes. I know a lot of schools have debate coaches. Our school had a debate coach too. Debate coaches can help you speak right fast. They can teach you the structures of arguments. They can teach you the ways to win and compel the judges to score the cards in your favor. But that's not really the way to speak. You're never going to speak to people the way you speak in debates. You're always going to talk to people in a way that's completely different, right? And you want to make sure that you know how to do that. Which is why, instead of learning from a debate coach or any kind of speaking coach, you'll improve much faster on your own by watching and learning from people that you like to listen to. Okay? Right, so here's some lessons here, right? I want you guys to think about this. No matter how good or bad you guys think you are at speaking, this is something I emphasize to myself every day. Okay? And this will help you guys, no matter what your skill level is, to become better speakers. The first lesson is to speak slowly. Right? Now, I myself have the same problem with this often. Right? We often rush over our words and jumble up our words, especially for fast thinkers. Right? You think faster than you can speak, and your tongue can't keep up. It also doesn't help that we're, fluent in Korean too, which is a completely different language with different pronunciation patterns. So sometimes when we speak, we run into what's called the Korean tongue. Right? We jumble over our words, our pronunciation gets messed up. You don't want that happening to you. Right? Ideally. So slow down. Right? Nobody is timing you in real life. Pause. Right? Emphasize words and slow down. Whenever you guys are speaking, I want you guys to consciously catch yourself speaking fast at times. All right? And make an effort to slow down. Slow down. It sounds natural even if you slow down, right? Nobody's saying that guy's speaking too slowly, right? We had a guy who spoke slowly become president for 8 years. His name was Barack Obama, right? He would take unnecessarily long pauses and say things like, yes, we can. And people went crazy over him, right? So you can take pauses, right? You can slow down. The second lesson is to write it down. Now this applies primarily for beginners and people who are not that good at speaking off the bat, right? Write down word for word what you want to say before you say it, okay? So when we have debates, you have to give a speech. Write down word for word how your speech is going to go, okay? Now, I don't recommend this to people who are more intermediate or who've done speaking before, right? Because what that ends up doing is you're reading off your paper. But for people who are just getting started, who need help with speaking, excuse me, I want you guys to write down word for word what you want to say and read it, okay? That's going to give you guys the first baby steps into speaking and hearing yourself speak, which is critical, all right? Don't try to come up with words on the spot if you can't. Don't. Right? Practice reading off the paper first, right? You got to walk to run. You can't improvise and do extemporaneous stuff on the spot. You got to read off the paper first. Make sure you hear yourself speak, and the words that you write sound right to you. Because oftentimes what we write sounds kind of weird when we say it out loud. Like, I don't really say this in person. Well, how do you say it then? Right? If you read one of your essays out loud, does it sound like a normal person talking? Not often, not always. Right? So you want to make sure that you hear yourself speak. Does it sound natural? And where can I fix my speech to make it sound more persuasive, more eloquent? All right? Work on that first. Write things down word for word. And for a lot of you guys who are beginners, and be honest with yourselves, I want to see it. Right? I want to see it. So when we do debates and you feel like you're unconfident in terms of how you're going to do this, I want to see you guys write down what you're going to say and say it. Okay? Third lesson is to think for yourself. Right? This is also critical. You want to ask yourself what you would say back to the other person in a normal conversation. So you're having a conversation with, let's say I'm having a conversation with Derek, right? A debate with Derek. And Derek gives me like a nice speech, right? When I'm listening to his speech, I want to ask myself these questions. What did I just hear? What do I think about that? Regardless of this debate. If Derek and I were in a normal conversation and he just said that to me, what would I think of this? What would I think of his argument? Can I paraphrase it in my own words? All right? Try to think of this as a normal conversation. You're restructuring your mind so that you're not pressurized by the debate atmosphere anymore. Okay? It's just a conversation. And I want you guys to practice speaking in your own mind. Okay? So over the course of this internship, we're going to work on what I call the ears, head, and mouth connection. What you hear should be processed by your head, which then should smoothly flow out of your mouth. Right? So it's all three organs working at the same time. Your ears are listening, your head is processing, and your mouth is delivering. Okay? But for people who are beginners, we're adding training wheels. So in order to assist your head processing, we're adding your eyes. So you're writing down what you want to say, you're reading it to assist your head in processing. Okay? All right. Now, there's three different levels of speakers that I want you guys to classify yourself as and work on these skills as it's said up there. For beginner speakers, I want you guys to work on listening attentively. All right? Write down what you want to say, read it out loud, and slow down. Okay? Listen attentively. What is the other person saying? What is their argument? Write it down. Write down what you want to say. Good morning. My goal here as the government is to dismantle the opposition's argument. You can say that. You can say something else, right? Write down what you want to say, read it out loud, but slow down. Slow down. Okay? If you slow down, you will eliminate 95% of all of your verbal problems. Stutters, nothing like that. Slow down. You guys know Ben Shapiro, right? You guys know Ben Shapiro? Kinda. He's the podcast guy, Jewish American guy who speaks really fast. Do not be like that dude. Right? Ben Shapiro is a great debater. He's a terrible conversationalist. Imagine if you're in a conversation with this guy, right? I don't think you would want to talk with this guy for more than 20 minutes. And 19 of those minutes is probably going to be him talking, right? So you want to be a scintillating conversationalist. I've heard this from someone before. You want to be a person who's very charismatic, very conversational, etc. In order to do that, you want to slow down. Okay? That's for beginner speakers. Keep this in your minds, okay? For intermediate speakers, so how I'm classifying this is basically beginner speakers is someone who, gets up on stage and doesn't know what to say, or has stage fright, or it's your first time doing debate and you're saying things in a very, very conversational way, but you don't know how to say things in a debate way. Okay? Intermediate speakers are people who've done some of this before. They've had a little bit of a dab there and here in debate or speaking, right? They're pretty confident that they can come out and say something, but they're not confident that it's going to be good. That's an intermediate level of speaker. Okay? I want you guys to also write down what you want to say, but instead of writing down word for word, I want you guys to write down an outline of what you want to say. Right? Argument, A, B, C, that's the reasons, conclusion, something like that. And I want you guys to fill in the outline with your own brain. Right? So if I do A, B, C, I can't say ABC up here, so I'm going to have to connect those words using conjunctions and transition phrases, right? Come up with those on the spot, right? Work on those. But I still want you guys to write down an outline of what you want to say, right? I want you guys to also look up and maintain eye contact. This is very, very important because you're not going to persuade someone by looking down at your paper all the time, right? And people are naturally averse to maintaining eye contact, right? It's also a sign that you're confident in what you're saying, and so you want the other person to listen to you and absorb what you're saying. Eye contact is crucial. I grew up in a Korean household where my mom would often say things like, "Don't look at me in the eyes." And I'd be like, "Yes, mom. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry." But when you talk to people your age group, when you talk to people and you're challenging their ideas, you want to maintain eye contact because they're not your mom. The only person in the world who can say that to you is your mom or your dad, right? Nobody else. And I want you guys to also focus on emphasizing certain words, okay? Enunciate. Enunciate. Next week, I'm going to have a small workshop on intonation. Do you guys know what intonation means? Intonation is your tone of how you speak. Some of you guys, when you talk, when you present, say things in a very monotone way. You don't want that. You want to say things in a way that sounds appealing, audibly. Right? It doesn't matter how good your presentation is. It doesn't matter how substantive your argument is. If nobody's listening, it's not working. Okay? You want to make sure that you're playing with intonation, making it sound appealing. All right, for advanced speakers, there's very few advanced speakers here. In fact, I classify almost all of you as intermediate speakers. And honestly, I don't think I'm that advanced either. Like, I've been doing this for 9 years. It's not like I'm the best orator in town. I'm far from it. And I actually need to go back and do some beginner drills and intermediate drills from time to time, so I don't stutter up in here in front of you guys. And for the most part, I can say what I want to say to you guys. Okay? For advanced speakers, I want you guys to read the room. Very, very important. A lot of guys know how to speak. They're very eloquent. They don't know how to read the room. You want to make sure you adjust to the mood that people have in the room, right? When you're talking and everybody seems like they're like, "Oh man, what's that guy talking about? Like, I don't like that." But you're continuing to go on with it. That's not a good speaker, right? When you're saying something and the room is not responding to you in a way that you like to be, you would like the room to be, that's not a good speaker. That's not good speaking, right? That's just you talking to yourself. Okay? Intonation, what I talked about before, your tone, your pace. You want to practice what's called smooth talking. Okay? It's for advanced speakers. Play around with how you sound in front of a mic, with how you sound to other people. Ask other people for feedback. What do I sound like when I talk to you? What do I sound like when I talk to you? Right? Your goal as an advanced speaker should be to adjust the way you speak to each person. There's a famous saying by Confucius. Confucius was telling a life lesson to one of his students, and he told the same thing to 3 different students in 3 different ways. And the student came up to him and was like, Master, why do you say the same thing in 3 different ways? And Confucius said, because people respond differently to different things. Okay? They respond differently. So you got to have different styles of talking so that you make sure that your message is accepted by different people. That's good speaking. Lastly, you want to persuade people, but not through coercion. Okay? The most lame kind of speakers in the world are those who persuade people through coercion or through sheer talking over someone. AKA, I don't play politics, but a terrible orator is Donald Trump. That dude is a terrible orator. I don't know if it's like the pressure of speaking in front of the media. I don't know if it's the pressure of being on a mic. But he often coerces and forces his voice upon other people and sort of drowns them out. That's not good at all. You want to persuade people through charisma, right? Charisma is something that's hard. It's hard to grasp. But the number one way you learn charisma is by watching and learning from other people who have charisma. Okay? Depending on how you guys do, and if we have time, I might show you guys videos of famous speeches. Right, so you guys can watch and learn from how they do it. One of my favorite speeches is Barack Obama's 2004 keynote speech. I don't think you guys know what this is about, but I'll show it to you guys one day, and you guys can watch and learn with me how he talks. And it's a great opportunity for you guys to learn from someone who's a great orator, right? So that's it. That's it for the public speaking workshop, the presentation. We're going to do one drill today, and I'm going to call it a day for you guys, all right? Usually what we do is called an elevator pitch, right? An elevator pitch, does anyone know what an elevator pitch is? Yes, Chloe?
You have a really short amount of time.
Exactly. Perfect. So an elevator pitch is when you have an argument and you have a limited number of time and you want to sell the pen, essentially, in that time. You want to tell people about your argument and argue for it in a very short period of time. However, I understand that a lot of you guys are just beginning to become speakers, public speakers, which is why I've modified this drill to become an elevator presentation drill, right? I know you guys have created 2 presentations already, but this is going to be about you. I want you guys to take 15 minutes to create a 2 or 3 page presentation about yourself. It doesn't have to be big. It'll contain your name, age, the places you live, your name, age, where you were born, what school you go to, name, age, the places you lived, what are 2 words used to describe you, and what's your favorite thing to do in the house? No, what's your favorite thing in the house?
Like an object?
Yes.
Oh, it's right there.
Name, age, where you were born, the places you've lived, what are 2 words used to describe you, and why? And what's your favorite thing to do, and what's your favorite thing in the house, your favorite object in the house? Not 30 minutes, 15 minutes. It can be 2 or 3 pages, okay? I want you guys to practice what we just talked about. All right? For beginners, write down exactly what you want to say about yourself. This is going to be an introduction about yourself, okay? A way for us to get to know you on a deeper level we've had so far with just name, age, and education. You want to get to know what your favorite 2 words are, and what your 2 words are, and what your favorite thing is. And I want you guys to finish by 5:15. Period. Okay? You will also have about 2 minutes per person to speak, like an elevator pitch. Right? So just keep it short. Actually, scrap that. No presentation. You guys can just write it down. Yeah, just write it down. Because it's going to be a speech.
So 30 minutes or 15?
15 minutes. 15 minutes to write down your name, age, where you're born, places you lived, 1 or 2 words used to describe you and why, and what's your favorite thing in the house.
And then for the rest of the 15 minutes, we just
present. You speak.
We're just gonna present the slides, or we're just gonna say it?
Just say it. No slides, guys. No slides. No slides. Just write it down.
Wait, does it have to be
Yeah,
like
Claire.
an object?
What do you mean by that?
Like even in the house, like
What do you like that's not an object?
it could be like I don't know. Like could it be like your pet or like
Yeah. Yeah. Be your pet. And explain why. Why is it your favorite thing in the house? All right, let's get into it. 2 minutes. Who wants to go first? I think I saw a hand there, Judy. You mean no? All right, move on.
Or why not?
Yeah, I want you guys to stand up too.
2 minutes is. I'm trying my best not to go too long. All right. Well, I want to start not with the first question, but I want to start with the last question. What is our favorite item from home and why? For me, my personal possession that I prefer is my bed. Not too complicated, just kind of simple, but the reason why is it's my base of operations. It's where I rest. It's where I get up in the morning to do all the things I want to do in the day, reach up to the skies, and then fall back down to at the end of the day. Now, this goes on into the second to last question. 2 words that I describe about myself. Well, during the day, I mentioned that I reach up to my goals and rise up to the sky, right? And I want to say that I am ambitious and loud. Ambitious and loud. I try to drive toward my goals with everything I have, with a passion that may not exist, but I will keep forming one anyway, for my goals and for my ambitious self. And I am loud because I want to be recognized as a person. In a situation where I know I can help, I do not want to be silent. I want to be there and say I can help. But at the end of the day, those are 2 very tiring personality traits that I have. And so that is why I go back to bed and have a restful sleep. But on my bed at night, sometimes I can't really sleep. I'll reflect on myself. What is my name? Imanju. What is my age? Well, I'm 16. Where was I born? Who am I? There's a whole bunch of other questions. Well, I was born in Maryland, but after like around 5 years, I came up to New York, where I currently live. And I am a student. I go to Stuyvesant High School. Sure, I'm an overachiever sometimes. And I've also visited many places outside of New York. I've been to multiple states in the US. New Jersey, California, Delaware, Virginia. And I've been outside the US to Canada and even to South Korea. But at the end of the day, again, at the end of the day, always going back to my bed. After a long day of just rising high or just reflecting down low, I always go back to my bed. Thank you.
Great job, Umad. After you speak.
Ooh, I took 3 minutes.
Get it?
No.
Let's go to the bathroom. It's okay.
Thank you.
All right, Umad, choose a person next.
Oh. Lonnie, I'll think you're yours.
Thank you. That was in my quote.
speech is gonna be a little more traditional. Whatever, just timer. Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah. So, hi guys, my name is Lonnie Moon. I'm currently 15, but I was born in 2007, so I'm gonna turn 16 in September. Yeah, I was born in New York, around here, Flushing, Whitestone, and I lived here for the entirety of my life. So, I mean, I haven't moved to a different house or somewhere else, so very boring in that sense, but 2 words to describe me are active. I like to play a lot of sports. I can't really stay in the house for too long, so that's 1 word. Another would be genuine. I'm pretty real, down to floor, too lofty my dreams or anything like that. So I'm a very simple guy. My favorite thing in the house is probably a shower. It's pretty weird, but after a long day, I like to reset myself by taking a nice cold shower in the morning, nice hot shower. But I think it's something that gives me like motivation, something to reset, and then something to actually push me for the entirety of my day. So yeah, it's me.
Great job, Lonnie. I'll give you guys feedback later on, yeah? So yeah, we want to get through all these guys first. All right, Lonnie, choose the next person to speak. It's sentencing.
Anyone want to go? What?
Out of nowhere. All right, Derek, you got this.
You can start timing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Alright, just started it?
Here. Yep.
Alright, so hi guys. I'm Derek. I'm 15, so I'm a rising sophomore. I was born in Korea and I've only ever, lived here in Bayside. 2 words that can be used to describe me are probably overthinking, because I'd like to think that I overthink a lot of things, and I also want to say hardworking, because when I start something, I don't want to drop it until I've finished what I started. And the thing that I love most in my house, it was my bed, because I love to sleep. That's it.
Thank you, Derek.
I got to choose the next person, right?
Yep.
Lindsay.
Okay, Lindsay, whenever you're ready.
Wait, I'm nervous.
You're good. It's okay. Who's that?
Okay, I'm ready.
Oh. I think he's more than ready. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Your best.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Kim. I'm 14 years old, and I was born in Queens, but I've lived in New Hyde Park my whole life. 2 words I would use to describe myself are dedicated and indecisive. When I enjoy something, and when I actually want to genuinely improve on it, and it's something that I want to do, and not something that someone else wants me to do. I'm dedicated to work hard and to put in the effort to improve. And I chose indecisive because I didn't know what to put as my second word. My favorite thing in my house is my desk chair, because after school, I share a room with my sister. So she's in there the whole day, so I don't have anywhere to sleep. Like if I want to take a nap, so that's where I take my naps after school.
Nice. Good job, Lindsay. Thank you. Now you gotta choose the next sacrifice.
Claire.
Claire. Come on, please.
Sorry.
Of course, it's an opportunity for you to shine. Whenever you're ready.
Okay.
3 minutes.
3 minutes?
I don't know. Just reflecting on what you said. Yeah. You ready? Debate format.
Okay. Okay. Hi guys, my name is Claire Yoon. I'm 15 and I'm turning 16 in October, so I'm a rising junior. Forgot. Oh. Okay, I was born in New York, specifically in Flushing, and I lived in an apartment somewhere that I forgot, but I moved when I was 3, and now I live in a house in Bayside, and I've been living there for like a decade. 2 words to describe myself are ambitious and empathetic, because I'm very ambitious, like to try a lot of things to see like what I like. For example, like in sports, I like tried a lot of things because I wanted to be good at a lot of them, such as like ice skating or like badminton, tennis, gymnastics, dance, whatever. And another, oh yeah, and I would also describe myself as empathetic because I spend a lot of time caring about other people and like how they feel. And if anyone needs like a lending ear, like within my friends, I'm always like there for them. And my favorite thing in my house is my dog Ollie because he's cute and tiny, and he's fluffy too. And I like playing with him. And if I have like a hard day, I know like he's at home waiting for me, and like he's always happy to see me. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Next person.
Oh,
All right, Hannah, you're up.
I'm Hannah from New York City, but I was actually born in New Jersey. I'm 15, turning 16 in November, and coincidentally, the 2 words I picked both start with the letter A, attentive and adaptive. Some of my friends would consider me quite quiet, and I have to admit that sometimes I can be. Through that, I have learned to enjoy listening to others and be attentive to words. In that way, I have learned to adapt more easily to changing situations, and I love my time alone, but I also do mine, which quite often puts me on the spot. On that note, my moderator is also the teacher of my favorite class, history. I would very much prefer reading historical documents over gas laws, although both may not seem as appealing to others. And on that note, as a humanity-centric person who loves writing, historical fiction is a genre I enjoy reading, so maybe it's no wonder history is my favorite subject. Thank you.
Nice. Wonderful. Great job, Anna. Next person, please. Your time has come.
Sorry, can I stand here?
No.
How do we get out?
That's how you get out of the movie theater.
Mr. Ryan, we have to go.
Huh?
You have to go.
Okay, you guys can go. If you need to go, you guys can go. We want to make sure you guys finish this drill for those of you guys who aren't behind it. Right? Thank you, Clive. Thank you, Hannah.
You guys sign up.
Yeah, sign up too. Don't worry about it. Also, you guys don't need to call me Mr. Ryan. You can just call me Ryan.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, just Ryan.
Alright. So be respectful.
All right, Judy.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Can you see what you wrote?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where is it? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I thought they took it to church. All right. Go on.
My name's Judy Shen, and I'm 15 years old. I was born in 2007, so I'll turn 16 in August, which is in a couple months. I was born in Queens, and I still live in Queens. I lived in Flushing and Western before. And 2 words that can describe me are me and honest. I like having everything like really organized, and it bothers me when it's not. And I'm pretty honest. I tell the truth for the most part, and I think Ryan knows this because I come old.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good one.
And if it's like, I'll say if it's not like really bad or like offensive, because I also like to think of others' feelings. And my favorite thing in my house is my bed because I like to sleep and I run out of energy really quickly, so I'm like sleeping most of the time. Yay.
Nice. Thank you, Judy. Right. Take someone up next. Hurry. Anyone.
Setting.
Setting.
Hi, my name is Saren. I'm 14 years old, turning 15 in August, and I live in Roslyn. I was born in the city, and I moved to Roslyn, lived in Korea for 7 months, attended Chadwick. And 2 words that can describe me is probably first ambitious, and I like to think that my ambitions lead me to be impulsive, which is my second quality. And sometimes I just decide on things that out of nowhere. Like one day I want to be something, the next day I want to be something else. And my favorite thing in the house is my dining table, which serves as a lot of things. Number 1 is something that's nostalgic. And number 2, somewhere that I can just sit down and reflect on my day or just simply study and read. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice job, Cindy.
Thank you.
Who's next?
Who didn't go?
People who didn't go, raise your hands.
Alright.
You ready?
So, hello everyone. My name is Chloe Yim, and I currently am a freshman. I'm 15, and I'm going on to my sophomore year at Great Neck Sound High. So, one word that I would describe myself as is focused, and a thing that was trending like a few months back was the Pomodoro technique, which I use like all the time when I'm doing my homework. So it's like doing work for 25 minutes and then resting for 5 minutes. Like that is really helpful, so I suggest it to everyone. So because it makes me really not procrastinate at all, because I know that I'll have 5 minutes later on to do my phone anyway. So I know I should be doing my work at that moment. And another thing I am is impulsive, and my MBTI is ESTJ, and J is actually planning, but I think I should be P actually, even though the test says that I'm supposed to be J, because I'm always like making spontaneous plans like at 4 p.m. For like to go to dinner with my friends, even if it's like 30 minutes later. And this also relates to my favorite thing in my house, which is my Smeetsky figurines, which I'm sure many of you know what that is because it's really trending. But it's like these little green alien men that like you could put everywhere, like around the room, and like it's really fun because they like interact with stuff in your house. So like you could set it up so it's like pushing your books, or it's like holding like a fishing hook, or it's like sitting on the edge of your drawer, and that's super fun because also you don't know which one you're buying when you purchase like the box because it's a mystery box. So you have no idea what you're gonna get, but then like it's fun to figure out like, oh, where you're gonna put it. But also it's very easy to get disappointed because like one of my Smeetsy figurines, I thought I was gonna get one that's gonna sit at the edge of my desk, but it's just like sitting and has a light bulb over its head. So I don't know like where I'm supposed to put that. But yeah, so, and that also relates to, I'm also impulsive in that way because I always buy more because I know that one of them's gonna have the one that's sitting, but it never comes out for me. Thank you.
Who hasn't gone yet? Odom, Joseph, Yeti? Choose out of those two.
Joseph.
Joseph. Joseph.
Okay. Hello, my name is Joseph Park, and I'm a rising senior, but I have a late birthday, so I'm 16 right now. And I was born in New York, and I've lived in Woodside, Whitestone, and now I live in Mill Neck. And I guess a word you could use to describe me would be empathetic, because I can understand what other people are thinking, I think. I don't know. And I think I'm also perceptive for similar reasons. I think I can like read the room pretty well. And one thing I like in my house is my couch, because I just lay on it.
Nice. Thank you. All right, Bodum, Yerin, choose which one.
It sounded.
Every time,
That's why you need a case.
every time I drop this, it's a game of like, did I break it or not?
Yeah, trust me. That's what makes it fun.
Thankfully, it didn't. You don't have a case either?
He doesn't have a case either,
My man.
but he has a screen protector.
Oh.
So he doesn't know
The look of betrayal.
Right. Which one? Bodum? Come on up, Bodum. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hi, my name is Borum, and if you don't know my name, it means the full moon. Korean, Borum Dar. And I'm 16. I was born in 2007. I go to grade next up. And 2 words to describe me would be withdrawn and really fidgety. Sorry about that. I'm withdrawn, but I'm listening. Don't worry. And my favorite thing would be my computer and my iPad because I'm hopelessly addicted to the internet, and that's it.
Thank you, Bodum. Aren't we all? Yeah. Yerin, last but not least.
Hey guys, my name is Tong Yerin, or like Yerin Song, which is like the English pronunciation. It's basically the same thing. I'm 15 and my birthday is May 11th, and I was born in Brooklyn in 2008. I've lived in Little Neck, and then I've lived in Korea for about like 3 months or so, and then I came back to live in Whitestone, and now I'm currently living in Flushing, and this is about my 10th year that I am living in Flushing. And 2 words to describe me are flexible. I become really adjusted to new situations, and I use the environment around me for my own gain. And I am also very real. Like, if I don't like you, I'm not gonna act fake towards you. If I don't like you, I'm not gonna make fake smiles. A favorite thing in my house is the temple I made myself through a pottery wheel, as I feel content seeing something that I created through just clay being used every day for my own use and for my family's own use.
Thank you, guys. All right. I think that's everybody. So I'm not gonna go. I mean, unless you guys want me to go.
Go.
Yeah. Yeah. We have to go. But before we go, I want to give you guys this last thing to think about. So remember, I gave you the assignment, Lonnie. I told these guys about this, but you have one journal assignment due on Sunday. Okay. Now I know you guys, some of you guys, skip out on the assignments and the ECAs. That's okay, but I want you guys to focus on the journal assignments a lot. These journal assignments are going to be things that can get you published, but not only that, it's going to be the blueprint for your college application essays later on. Okay? Opinion pieces, anecdotal pieces. It's very good for you guys. And I want to get to know you guys better and help you guys improve as writers too, not just speakers. So, don't forget about this. I'm going to upload this on Google Classroom. It's a written assignment, 250 to 500 words. What does it mean for you to live as a Korean American today? What are some of the challenges you face as a Korean American? Whether that be from others or from your own family. How do you think your identity and background has shaped you as a person today? Right? The second assignment I want you guys to do is an interview assignment. Right? I want you guys to interview an older family member, family friend, teacher, or other Korean American individual about the following questions. What was it like to go to school or work as a Korean American? Did you face any difficulties? Were there any instances of racism or discrimination against you? How can we resolve Asian hate? What can we do to empower the Korean American community in America today? And any other questions that you want to ask. Excuse me. So I want you guys to come up with questions and also a person that you'll interview. Okay? And this is going to be due next Wednesday. I'm going to give you guys a little more time because you have working parents, right? You have working family friends. But I want you guys to do this by Wednesday. The Our Stories assignment is due by Sunday. All right, so that's plenty of time. I'm giving you guys a week for the first one and a week and a half for the second one. Right? There shouldn't be any excuses when you guys can't get it done. All right? And that's pretty much it. It's the only assignments I'm giving you guys. It's going to be pretty simple. Okay? So with that being said, Have a great 4th of July tomorrow, everybody. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. And Chunu? Ian? Oh, hold on.
Oh yeah, we didn't go.
I completely forgot about Chunu and Ian, actually. I'm so sorry, Chunu, Ian.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Actually, guys, before you go, out of respect, let's listen to Chunu and Ian too. Okay?
Alright, sure.
I'm so sorry, guys.
Alright.
Yeah.
So
That's
hi.
what happens when Austin isn't here.
Oh yeah.
No, you're good.
Okay,
Whenever you're ready, Chunu.
Yep. So hi, my name's Chunu, but a lot of close friends call me Jun because it's hard for some people to pronounce. I was born in Korea, Daejeon, Korea in 2007, which makes me 15, turning 16 in about a month. I lived in a lot of places, including like I was born in Korea, lived there until I was 7, and then I moved to New Zealand when I was 7. Lived there for 2 years, came back to Korea, lived there until I was 12 or 13, and then I moved to Atlanta like 3 years ago. And around 2 years ago, I moved up to North Jersey, and that's where I go to school. It's Leonia High School. I'm a rising sophomore. A word I would use to describe myself is resilient. For like, I moved around a lot. I have to like, a lot of situations come where I have to adjust to my new environment. And I would also say I'm ambitious. I have really high goals for my future, whether that be academic or other life goals. And my favorite object in my house is my Canon A1. It's a vintage film camera, like originally released in 1978. I like taking photos. I like going to New York to take photos. Yeah, nice to meet you.
Chunu, you are definitely resilient for putting up with me. I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Ian, why don't you cap us off?
Okay. Hi, my name is Ian Chong. I am 15 years old. I was born in Queens, but I've moved to Manhattan and I've moved to Sayville, which is where I live now. And 2 words that describe me is patient, because I can tolerate a lot, especially my siblings, and ambitious because I want to do a lot in the future, like start a business or something. And my favorite thing in the house is probably my bed, because it's really relaxing, and it's just a nice place to nap when I'm finally home from school. So yeah.
Thank you, Ian. All right. Well, I guess my 2 words are forgetful and what did I just say, right? All right, guys. Have a nice day. I'll see you tomorrow. I mean, on Wednesday. Yeah. Huh? Right here. Wait. Right there. Make sure you sign up, okay?